Welcome, weary hero! Come in and pull up a chair by the fireplace. Grab and enjoy a tankard or two of your favorite brew. Listen to your fellow Nephalem trade stories of their journeys throughout Sanctuary. Welcome, hero, to the Scythe and Shield.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Scythe and Shield Rebirthed. Today's guests are the spiritual successors of the original podcast that got me into podcasting myself. The ever so wonderful and cheerful Deadgreed and his cohort in crime and mischief, Shazam. How are you guys?
Wazza.
I'm doing good.
Good.
It's the weekend.
Yeah, it is the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played way too much Classic the last couple of days.
Yeah, you are.
I usually drink like iced tea or water during the shows. I'm drinking really strong coffee right now.
I think I was up to like 2:30 last night playing Classic, and then I was up at 9 o'clock this morning playing again.
I only wish I went to bed at 2:30 yesterday. It was more like 4.
I went to bed like at 11, but I got up at 4. I don't know.
Inverse problem. But yeah, so before we get into the temporary topic of Classic WoW on a Diablo podcast, how have you guys been doing so far? How's your seasons been? How has the Diablo season theme been treating you? All that lovely stuff.
You know, I don't mind the season buff, the triune, right? I don't mind it. It's quite weird because I've been back and forth between like a bunch of different characters. I've started on a witch doctor, then I went to a wizard, and then I'm running a crusader. I don't know. I've been bouncing back and forth a lot. I don't mind it, but if you're not playing like a ranged character, it's kind of, I mean, yeah, you might be able to get one, but it's a little weird, right?
Yeah, it can be a little sketchy sometimes, especially if you're hardcore. It's like, oh, I ain't going in that one. That one's a death trap.
I haven't used the triune buff too much because I've been playing mostly multi-shot and kill stuff before, anything. You can do anything with that thing. Like when I was playing my Legacy of Dreams monk, I would use it because, you just like on a Rift Guardian and stuff like that. It'd be about the only time I would use it. But other than that, I don't know. My season was doing good until I quit to play Classic. I was number one with Monk on softcore in the clan for forever, and then Tuba overtook me while I was playing. So.
That Tuba.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm like 1450 or 1500 Paragon points. Pretty much mostly. I'm not all completely solo, but a lot of it's been solo. So that's basically been my season so far. I want to hit 2,000 Paragon, but I don't know if I'm going to come back to the season or not.
Yeah, my season consisted of the first 3 days of the first opening weekend, and then I stopped. I don't even know what Paragon I hit. It could have been 4, it could have been 6. I don't know, because I haven't logged on since Classic came out. Like,
I don't feel bad because I'm only like 980 or something. I'm under 1,000. I'm close to 1,000. I just, I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
I wanted to give Classic like 1 month because all the people, that's all you heard was people complaining about not being able to log in and stuff like that. So I figured I'd give them an entire month, and then I would play.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, okay, for those listening at home or on like your favorite device, this is probably going to be the 10 minutes of WoW Classic. So if you wanted a Diablo show, probably fast forward about 10-15 minutes and then you'll be fine. Warning started. There we go. If there's ever a doubt for me continuing to play Classic, it was pushed a couple more months further into the future because I hit 60. I don't know. Was it a day ago? 2 days ago? Like I said, I've been staying up to like 2:30 in the morning, so perception of days starting and ending is kind of not really there. And then I felt a little down because I'm like, hardly anyone ever has the money for an epic mount at 60. It's almost impossible unless you're like hardcore, just like grinding and whatever. But I did a lower black rock run yesterday. And there's a little nook if in your memories. You get down all the way to the bottom, you kill a whole bunch of orcs in these like makeshift tents that are in the mountain, so it doesn't quite make sense. And then you go up a ramp to where all the spiders are. Well, there's a little alcove right before the ramp to the right that has a whole bunch of orcs. Now those orcs have a chance of dropping the robes of the Archmage recipe, which is an epic tailoring recipe for mages only. Well, I was in the pug group, we killed them, the pattern drops, there's another mage in the group. The 3 people who weren't the mages and myself rolled greed. I rolled need, and I was like, oh my god, the recipe dropped. Oh my god, I hit 300 tailoring today. I want to use those so bad. Like, you're trying to like lay it on that like I'll actually use those. Like, I won't just try to sell it for a profit. And you get like that nervous like arm twitch, like when like you're just waiting, is the other person gonna roll greed or need? Like, what are they gonna do? You're kind of at the whim of like another person, and you're just going, and then you see like they passed. Oh my god, it's mine! Oh my god! So now I know what I'm gonna be doing for the next week. It's gonna be farming all the essences I need for the damn robes to make them, because that robe is like BIS for like the first 3 phases of Classic, so those will be around for a while. So it's kind of like how, like, you get like a primal item, kind of bringing it back to Diablo a little bit. For those who are not aware of the whole Classic WoW dilemma, it's like when you get like a really good primal Carly's that's best in slot and has all the right affixes, and it's just like your weapon forever at that point. That's kind of what these robes are. So far I've been loving Classic. It's a grind. It reminds me of the community that was back then, how gaming was back then. And yeah, there are some downfalls, but usually the better times make up for it. So we'll allow about another 5 minutes of discussion on Classic, and then we'll move on to the all important getting to know you guys. So how have your Classic adventures been?
We've basically just been leveling. I'm like level 17 or 18.
The same.
So you're in that prime Wailing Caverns. Oh shit, I missed the jump territory.
Well, I mean, I haven't actually done any dungeons, and I'm not actually interested in it. I'm just having fun questing and like trying to get my professions up a little bit. I just got better bullets. We're playing dwarf hunters, which guns, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just I was really disappointed earlier today because when WoW first came out, there was like this hunter thing where like you could stable your pet and go get a different pet, and then like you could learn those abilities and then grab your other pet that you actually really want and then train those abilities to your pet. But apparently we're past that patch or whatever. I don't know, but it doesn't work because I spent like, I don't know, 2 hours getting them boar and charge and then leveling it up so I could get charged too. And I did all that. And then I went and got my bear, and it was like, burr, burr, burr. This is for boars only, and bears can't use it. I was like, I know for a fact, back in the day, early in the classic, we did that because me and my captain ran around, like the dude one of the guys I went to Iraq with. We ran around like intentionally getting other pets, and we had long discussions about like, oh, hey, get this pet because this pet has stealth, or get this one because it has dash. And if you get dash and stealth, then you can stealth your pet and then dash it into the enemies. I guess you can't. I guess it's all by like level now. Cause like I went back to the pet trainer and it was like, once you're level 18, you can get this, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. It's fine. I'm like I said, I'm just having fun, just messing around. I got a nice bear, and I'm just using him to tank and send him in there and shoot some bullets. I almost said arrows, but yeah, shoot some bullets, and it's all right.
Yeah, it's actually rare in my, I guess, sphere of people that I've been playing with to hear people actually who just want, no, I just want to grind a little bit, but I just want to. There we go, clearing the throat. It's rare to hear people who are like, no, I'm fine being in the world questing. I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but I want those blues and epics, so I want to do the dungeons and raids.
Well, there is good loot from the dungeons and stuff, but I mean, there's no LFR, so you gotta like run to the dungeon. You can't queue, right? It's kind of to me, I want to play. I don't want to stand at a Hearthstone, or they're not Hearthstone. What do you call those stupid things?
Meeting stones.
Yeah, meeting stones, whatever. And you type, looking for one more for whatever. Well, right now I just want to quest and just,
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
See, it's only really when you hit like 50 does your quest supply really begin to go down. And at 55, 56, you're going, oh boy. Like I have to start grinding out like a half level each time, but it's fine. You'll get to 60. You'll enjoy it.
That's the good thing about a hunter, because you can chain grind pet. You can chain grind with your pet,
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to 50, 60, you can really just, you can really get in there and just, like go to the burning steps or whatever, right? And then just chain grind, and that's what it is. It takes a while, but
you do your own thing. That's what the game allowed you to do. So, what about you, Shazam? Your classic adventures.
My problem is I like having a self-sustaining account. So therefore I have, I think, 3 alts currently, all running different professions.
Oh.
Just to self-sustain the collective.
You're going for that. No, I don't need anybody else. I'm good. I got 10 characters, all the professions at max. Like I'm good. I'm gonna own this market.
Yeah, so far I got tailoring and obviously leatherworking on my hunter, tailoring on my mage. I just got mining on my paladin, and I'm gonna have herbalism and alchemy on my warlock. So yeah, I got 4 characters so far.
Hey, and you know what it is? Like, alt-itis can be a bad thing, but if you do it properly, with like, if you let like each character rest and you play one character like a day or two, it's not that bad, because it takes so little time to work through that rested experience. You can work through that rested experience, do the professions on that one, and then just lock that character away for a couple of days, and you just move on to another one. And you're breaking up the gameplay, so you're going from a melee to a ranged to a caster. So it actually could help with burnout in a sense, as long as you're okay probably doing the same quest 3-4 times over.
If you pick different races, you don't have that problem, but I have 3 humans and a dwarf, so yeah, I am doing the same quest.
Well, that's till like probably like 20, and then you can start picking different places. For the horde, that's around the same. It's like undead. It's like, okay, Deathknell, Tristle Glades, Silver Pine, and then Barrens. Forever and ever. And then you start doing Stone Talon, and then move down to 1,000 Needles, and then you start feeling like you get away from everybody. Because like 1,000 Needles seems far away, then the Simmering Flats seems really far away. And you get the Tenaris, and that even seems further away. Like you start feeling like you get a little bit more removed from everybody else. I always found that interesting in the game. But
it's good though, because then you don't have to worry about people stealing your kills and stuff like that.
Oh, bro, I had this dude.
I could tell you about launch night. That was an interesting experience.
I had this dude, and he was literally like standing right behind me, like trying to like instant cast on every target that I had. Like, dude, just go kill your own stuff. Like, really? You can see what I'm doing. Like every time my hunter's mark went on something, he was definitely trying to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mage, and he was definitely trying to like
get that fire blast in, like steal it. But no, launch night was crazy. It was like you zone in. You're with your friend, your other buddy, and like 5 to 1,000 of your other closest undead zombies. Like
I'm sure trying to get through that initial zone was just nuts.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was still bad. But then again, it was launch night. Like, what would you have expected? At least I didn't have to wait for queues. Like, I got in instantly, but like the first half hour, there was some like stutter lag. Like all of a sudden, you see everyone move like 20 feet in like 2 frames, and you're like, how is that possible? But it was funny.
The one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stay out of the auction house. I don't want to get into that.
Auction house is dangerous.
Oh, you have no idea. No, you have no idea. I have. Yeah. No, I'm trying to stay away from it.
There are tendencies, I could say.
It'll suck me into it, and then I'll have 5 accounts with 50 auction house tunes. It won't be good.
All right. So, for those who skipped ahead 15 to about 10 minutes or so, congratulations. This is now a Dabble Podcast again. You made it. You survived this long. So, with that, we'll get on to the first segment.
Hail Nephalem.
Alright, so here we are. First segment. This is where we get to know our lovely guests a little bit more. And we'll try to keep, since there's both of you here, and we don't want to make this a 3-hour opus like I was on your show, we'll try to keep things a little bit shorter as we go down the list. And then
Still one of our best episodes, by the way.
You're welcome.
Just saying.
But no, it was fun. It's what, like I said in the intro, the original Shattered Soulstone podcast. Humble moment to you guys. The first time being on the Shattered Soulstone, I think it was episode 26 or 28, whatever the hell it was. Got me into podcasting, and then being on the show with you guys talking about the development hell arco is what reinvigorated me to get it back up in order. So I am indebted to the Shattered Soulstone forever, in more ways than one. Humble moment. Moving on. So, Deadgreed, you. where does the name come from? After you swallow.
Hey. No. Well, I used to have. I'm a huge, like, World of Warcraft was a huge part when I came home from the desert. You know, we most of the guys I was interact with played, and and I got into the auction house in a major way, and I used to just murder, and it was a big thing, and people would send you hate mail, and it'd be like, you greedy, beep 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 beep, that kind of thing, and people, I don't know, people. It was I never really understood it, because, like, what, you got the highest price in the auction house? No, you don't. You're undercutting people too, so why are you mad because I undercut you? We used to get into these wars, like, if you made me mad, or if you made me mad enough, I wouldn't let you buy or sell anything on the auction house, and I had the capital to make that happen. I've been banned several times for manipulating the auction house. So anyway, as a result of that, my mage was named Naga, like, the race Naga.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Naga, please. And anyway, well, I don't know, one of these people who I don't know, I made them mad or whatever in the auction house. So they have reported me as having an inappropriate name, which is not an inappropriate name. It was like it's a wordplay, I guess, kind of, right? It was like a funny thing. It wasn't meant to be, like, offensive. It was just meant to be a funny thing, right? Well, anyway, I get home one day, and it's just like above my mage is a bunch of random numbers, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, and then, like, you click on it, and it was like, in order to play this character, you must change your name. And there was like a deal on there that was saying that I had an inappropriate name and I had to do a name change. And I was mad. So I didn't play that character for a long time. And I guess Wrath of the Lich King, we had too many rogues. And my main was a rogue. And anyway, my raid team was like, man, you're going to have to switch off that rogue because we got too many. And we had lost we had a really good frost mage, and we had lost our mage. He went to another guild, and I was like, well, I do got a mage, and I just got to level it up and get some gear, whatever. And so I went to log on, and of course, I don't have a name, so I just was like, and a lot of my characters were like dead, blah blah blah. Like, did something, did this, did that. Mm-hmm. And, and I was, like, trying to figure out what I was going to call my mage, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to call him Deadgreed. So, that's kind of where I got it, because, like, it was like an auction house thing, really. Yeah. Long story, I guess.
No, it's good. I always like knowing why people call it. The story of the handle is a very interesting thing at times.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like it fit me way better than what my rogue was like Moodor, so everybody called me Moody or whatever, and the greed thing was it fit me way better anyway. It fit my personality better.
Yeah, and Mr. Shazam, yourself.
When I came back to PC, I want to say season 12, I didn't want to have my old name anymore because I felt that in my 30s it didn't reflect me anymore as it did when I was a teenager when I made this account, you know what I mean? So I think when I joined Discord and stuff, I I thought like long and hard. I'm like, I don't want to have, you know, my old name, so I'll think of a new one. And I didn't want to go with like Batman. I didn't want to go with like Superman. Like, you know, they were like well overplayed. And my personal favorite Alex Ross picture is the Alex Ross picture of Shazam. I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen it on when I first started the podcast, because you always see it on the logo when we did
The Skype intro profile.
yeah, the Skype, yes. And see, that's when I figured I would just go Shazam because nobody else is using it. Like, really.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I wanted is Nutcase069, and
I think that fits you better, bro.
in your late 20s, early 30s. It's not as appropriate as it was back in your teens. So I initially changed it on, you know, I had it on Discord. So I changed it on, you know, Battle.net. I made everything Shazam81 except for Twitter, because I didn't use Twitter at the time. And then some D-bag ended up taking that name on Twitter. I think 2017, 2018 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Before I decided to take it. So now I'm Shazam081 on fucking Twitter.
Yep. So now that we've, as I used to say on the older podcast, you know, taking a crowbar and went underneath that BattleTag a little bit. Quite simply, and we'll start with Shazam this time. How old are you, and what's your main profession, study, work? Go from there.
I am 38 years old, and I'm an automotive technician in the Pittsburgh area.
And just off tangent note, on a couple episodes you were mentioning about like storms and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, we had storms, and I'm like, wait a minute, go to profile. Oh shit, I'm on the other side of the state.
Yeah.
Well, it took me a while to put one and one together and get two, but still, it's like, it's 5 hours to get there. It's like, oh. One day though, one day we shall meet. So, Deadgreed, same question to you.
And I'm 43, and I'm an underpaid actor. Currently acting as a mailman.
The postman.
Yeah, it's you know how sometimes you go to your mailbox and you got mail. Sometimes it's your neighbors. That's me.
you're that guy who goes like, I'm gonna make someone's life interesting today. I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this card. I'm gonna see if someone's like, fuck, I'll take that gift card today.
They're like, you gave my neighbor my mail. No, I gave you the opportunity to meet your new neighbor.
Exactly. It's like, in this day and age of technology and Facebook, no one meets face to face. It's like, you're giving an opportunity for people to be people again. I get you. I get these IQ 200 level plays. I get you. I'm on your level.
Yeah. It's a little lower than that, bro.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, I'm a mailman. It's alright. I keep the glorious tan going. You can see where my watch is. You don't want to see my feet, bro. You'll be like, whoa.
Farmer's tan around the feet. That's an interesting concept.
I have permanent socks, my son says.
All right. So, going along, we'll start with Deadgreed. We'll do this whole zigzag type deal. You know, whoever leaves off with the previous question will continue. So, what was your first time seeing Diablo, and was it just you, or was it due to a friend or something like that?
I seen Diablo 1, but I really didn't play Diablo 1. I really started playing like Diablo 2, and that's because in my unit we had another dude who had the same name as me, and he had Diablo 2, and I had just got a computer, so we would play together, and well, you know, that's kind of how I got into Diablo. It was but we totally ruined the game, Diablo 2, because we did hacking mods, and we would go outside of town and have like 45-minute duels, and then we'd be like, okay, we can't kill each other. I do like that Diablo 3 isn't run by hacking like Diablo 2 was. I mean, you can still play Diablo 2, I guess, and not blah blah blah, but we run it for ourselves. I'm glad that Diablo 3 is not like that, because when you god yourself up, the game becomes very not fun anymore.
Yeah, there is something to be said about power creep and how much is too much, and where that line is, and to kind of keep my sentiments short and sweet, I think Diablo 3 has, maybe not because of the seasonal theme this season, but maybe because it exists with everything else, I feel this season broached the line of, oh, I'm running around with infinite ammo cheat code and all guns, and this is awesome. I can do anything. I can kill anything. Nothing gets in my way. Cut to me 10 minutes later. This is really boring. So, that's how I kind of feel about this season. It's like, there are exciting things, but when it's all tended to be wrapped up in power creep, yeah, I can get them. But that's a topic for later on the show. Maybe. We'll see. Let's not distract from the main focal point here. So, Shazam, same question. First time seeing Diablo, and was it due to a friend or just all natural?
I never played Diablo 1 up until recently, whenever it was on GOG. I can't remember if I seen a commercial for Diablo 2, because leading up to, after you told me we were going to be on the show, listen to all the podcasts to see what I was up against. And then I looked to see if Warcraft 3 came out before Diablo 2, and it didn't. It came out after Diablo 2. So I'm like, okay, in the pamphlet, I sure didn't see Diablo 2. So I either had to see in a commercial or just pick it up in a store, because everybody I knew, if they were playing a computer game at the time, they were playing like Doom or Heretic or stuff like that. They weren't even playing like, anything like Diablo or anything like that. But once I got Diablo 2, I worked 2:30 p.m. till 11 p.m. And from 11 o'clock till like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, that's what I did, is I played Diablo 2 until like my eyes bled, and then I went to bed and went for work. But like, I lived in that game for a long time, and before I got bored of it. And even when I went to college in 2004, I didn't have internet. And I would go home and I would still play Diablo 2, because you didn't need internet to play Diablo 2. So that's what I did even in college,
Yeah. it's always interesting hearing people's stories because I'm a Diablo 3 noob. I'm one of those Diablo 3 babies. So it's like I get to hear everyone else's history. I'm like, oh, people have history. Like, oh, I came in at Diablo 3, but whatever. It is what it is. It's all water underneath the bridge at this point. So, Shazam, in regards to the franchise, not like particularly Diablo 3, even though you could go there if you want to, but the franchise as a whole, what's your biggest hope for it moving forward?
I hope that it becomes one of the pillars of Blizzard again. And you may say, oh, it's one of the pillars of Blizzard right now. World of Warcraft and Diablo are on two different playing fields right now. Like, World of Warcraft is held to this huge standard at this point because it brings in so much money. And then you got Diablo that's, nowadays we basically got a handful of people working on it at the current time, other than the people that are making Diablo 4, of course. But like, I want it to generate as much money as it possibly can. So like, you got like World of Warcraft and you got Diablo on the other side, and they're both like the greatest games for Blizzard. Because I don't know, it just seems to me like Diablo has been an afterthought for like ever. Like, even when Diablo 3 came out, it's the highest selling PC game of all time. Did it feel as big as World of Warcraft? It didn't to me. Of course, I was back when I played World of Warcraft, but they gave Diablo 3 away. You know what I mean? That's how.
Yeah. Some people don't remember that or even know that. It was so strange that they did that whole promotion. And for those who don't know, it was a couple of months before the game came out, and they had a promotion that if you had pre-bought a full year subscription to World of Warcraft, you got Diablo 3 digital version base, not like a deluxe version or anything, but you got the base version for free. And it was so strange, because it's like World of Warcraft players are not going to be converted to Diablo 3 players. Like, not even like hindsight. I mean, there may have been a few people who were Diablo 2 people that went to World of Warcraft because it fit their RPG niche, but we're waiting for the next iteration in the franchise for Diablo. But for a promotion like that, and it seems also counterintuitive, because what you're thinking, someone's going to pay a full year of WoW, and then they're going to play WoW and Diablo 3 at the same time. Some people may have, but if people are going to switch to Diablo 3, they're going to switch to Diablo 3. So I feel the whole deal was poorly put together. From a logic standpoint. I mean, I'm sure it worked enough that it validated itself, that it brought in WoW subscriptions more than anything else, because that's how they calculated it. And I'm sure the free copies they gave away, they somehow Jimmy Ray to count towards that initial sale cost of how many units they pushed, like the first day, the first week, the first month. But it was just a very odd deal. It's like, we're so proud of what we've built, we're giving it away for free. It's like, wait, what? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I'll stop. That was a history lesson for those who didn't know. So, Deadgreed, what's your biggest hope for the franchise moving forward?
I'm like Shazam. I want to see it blow up. Going back to a history lesson, the last 2, 3, 4 BlizzCons, whatever, right? Like, they barely even act like they even own Diablo. I mean, okay, last thing was we know what happened last BlizzCon, right? And everybody kind of had a bad taste in their mouth. But the year before that, did they even say the word Diablo? I mean, you know, it was like it's felt like we're the redheaded stepchild of the franchise. You know, of the franchises. It's I have big hopes for this BlizzCon. I hope they just murder it. I hope that D4 is just. I want Diablo to be so good that I can't wait to get off work to get home to play it. Because now it's like I get home and my friends are playing, so I get on and I play, and you know I play this and that. And I do like playing, but I want to be fired up. You know, it's okay. I do like Diablo 3, whatever. You know, but it's like I want it to be where that's what I'm thinking about all day at work. Like, you know,
you want something to do. It's kind of like, I'm sorry, this will probably be a thing for a long time, but I'm gonna make the classic comparison and the vanilla comparison. It's like vanilla and classic, you know, they're one and the same. It's like you're thinking about the game constantly because there's always something to do. It's like right now, it's like, okay, should I get home and AoE grind, or should I do something else? And then the robe pattern that I mentioned before dropped. So now that gives me another goal because I want the robe. So now I have to go to certain areas and grind the elemental essences. So now that's my goal for the next couple of days because I don't want to pay the money for them. I want to grind them out. So now that sets me up for a couple of days worth of stuff to do. So I feel you on that. It's like I want the game, like basically when I'm with like Leviathan and Nine and SVR and all the other people who are there at the convention, like if someone says like, what do you want at this BlizzCon? I wouldn't describe what I want from the game or what I want them to show, because that's all subjective. And if I can think about it, like I learned in the Dev Hell article I did, if I can think it, it's not good enough because I'm not, as hard as I tried, it could be done 10 times better than what I could think. So what I essentially want, like, I want an emotion. That's what I want from this BlizzCon. I basically want to see what I see, know that it's not just Diablo 3.5. It actually is truly the next iteration. And basically just like scream and just fist bump the air. That's what I want. Like just something that just makes me excited again. That there's no, I don't have to get up and defend it. That there's no lingering doubts. That it just is what it is and it is glorious. So I totally feel you on that. Like I just want to be simply excited again, which is something that, as you pointed out before, last year was the Immortal debacle. The year before that was nothing. The year after that was maybe a panel or two. I don't know if it had a main stage
they
presence.
had that fireside. They had those fireside chats, but if you weren't at BlizzCon, you weren't part of it. They had like story time with Yang or whatever, right?
Yeah, and then the year before that was the Necromancer release. I think that's the appropriate amount of years. Because I think the Necromancer was 2016, if I remember correctly.
Whatever the timeline is, it's just like we get to BlizzCon and it's like.
It's always like the last thing on the opening ceremony, and it's always like shoehorned in. It seems, but yeah. I mean,
at least two. Go ahead.
No. You can go ahead.
At least 2 years ago, in about September, August, Brandy goes, "Hey, there's not going to be anything Diablo related to BlizzCon this year."
It was like, all right, fine. It was a brave thing to do, but at least it was accurate. And then last year, that shit still happened. But
hey, just because you were talking about her, hey, I just want to give her a big shout out. She did something great for us. Thank you very much, Brandy.
Yes, Brandy is the awesomest. Every time we get to BlizzCon, we see her. Everyone gives her like 10-second hugs because we know she needs all the love and positive vibes as possible. It's like when I think about, shout out to Brandy moment. When I think about not just myself, but like everyone that I know in the community, and how she really does truly interact with each one of them, and she knows each one of us. Like, I don't ever want to think of a time where she's not our CM, because that is a very frightening prospect. Like, I would put her not being our CM as probably being worse than most things that could be game related. Like she's like the only major contact that I think most, if not all of us have. And then if someone came in and didn't like keep those contacts going or acknowledge like who we were, oh god, the community would be like, what do we do? So she is the most awesome person ever.
Well, she did something great for our podcast, so, and that's coming up, and people who listen to our show will probably already know what she done, or will fix him to be knowing what she already done.
I think I know. I think I saw. But regardless, you'll be able to advertise that later on in the show. So
how about this? If Brandy ever leaves Blizzard, we'll all dress as Alliance, go into Blizzard, and annihilate that orc statue that's like in the middle of the courtyard. Just annihilate it.
no, it has to be torches and pitchforks. It has to be done that way. I can rally behind that. But I agree with the sentiment. Forever. Moving along. This is where we get into the more community aspect of it all. So, Shazam, what got you in? Now, this question is, I always have to I always read it, and I'm like, I should really kind of word it differently. But what got you into community work in general? If that was a thing before Diablo, or if your community work really was just your Diablo, the podcast or stream. Basically, what got you into that? What got you to press the live button? What got you to join the Shattered Soulstone? That story.
I really didn't do anything before the Shattered Soulstone. This all happened probably December-ish last year. Greed couldn't find somebody on a week-to-week the week basis, consistently to help host the show. And literally, the only thing I ever did was play Diablo, or any other. Back then, I was playing Diablo, a ton of times, during the weekend. So one week he was like, "Hey, you want to do the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to do it this week." And then a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, you want to do the show?" It's like,
just taking a poker to the side, like, come on, buddy, you want to do it, come on.
So yeah, then it ended up just me being there every week, and then I haven't left yet, other than a couple weeks I missed, once because Vespertilio didn't actually invite me to the show, and 2 other times because personal reasons.
That guy. I have to meet him. I miss not being able to talk to him on the show with you guys, but sniff sniff. So, same question to you, Greed.
Well, I used to co-host a how to make gold. I told you I was deep into the auction house, brother. Your wow money. I was on, I don't know, 140, 150, 170 episodes. Your wow money. We were like the #1 gold making podcast. It was great, and I just had a lot of fun. I did a mage only podcast, all about mage stuff, which it was okay. It ended, and the Your WoW Money thing ended, and then I kind of quit playing WoW, and then I kind of slid into Diablo because I was really looking for something to do, and it just I wasn't raiding anymore, so I I kind of spent a lot of time after raiding just like running around killing stuff, and like I don't know, it was a weird moment in my player buyout, I guess. And then I just kind of like slid into Diablo, and I got into it deep, and then I was, and like Vespeterio was doing the show, and he was doing a lot of solo stuff, and I just hit him up and was like, "Hey, bro, I got podcasting experience, man. We can freaking," and he had me on, and I haven't left yet. I've been doing it since then, and I don't even know how many episodes I've been on the Shatterstone. So I don't know how long it's been.
That happens after a while. You're like,
yeah, I don't remember.
It's been a while.
It's been a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years. I don't remember, to be honest. I mean, I should have like a, hey, I started at this episode number. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, and then kind of over time, I just kind of slid into the co-host type thing, and then me and Shazam, and I love that Shazam comes every week, because it gives us something to, we kind of bounce off each other, and it's it's fine. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I always enjoy listening to the show. It always continues the legacy of the show, but you guys do your own thing.
Yeah, the thing that annoys me the most is when there's nothing. Like, you know what I mean? And you're standing there like fixing to record the show, and you're like, no tweets, no emails, no.
We gotta make this shit up.
There's no blue notes. There's no news. There's nothing new. There's no PTR.
It's like, what's okay?
We personally didn't play Diablo this week.
It's like, quick. What's the latest Riker conspiracy video going around? What's
there's
happening
no
on
Riker video?
What's happening?
Scythe hasn't been talking lately. It's like, Jesus.
It's like, what's going on Reddit? Like, we're grasping at straws here. But
we have literally been fixing to do the show, and we're like, what's going on Reddit? Is there anything going on? Like,
it's like there's 4 candles on this image somewhere in the internet. We have 5 minutes of content this week. Awesome. Yeah, no, I get it. That's the reason why I do this show this way, because I'm like, I'm fine just talking about the people. Let the game, let other people talk about the game. They know more than I do. I'll just talk about people. I'm fine with that. Yes. And the last question for the segment is, through your adventures and community work, podcasting, Twitch live streaming, if you've done that as well, what would be probably the biggest lesson that you've learned that you could impart that knowledge on someone else who's looking to do said podcasting, streaming, or community work? So with you, Deadgreed.
Man, just start your show, get it like a rough structure, and just do a free form. Everybody's having fun. Less rules. You gotta have some rules, but like less rules is kind of better. Like you don't want all this. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You don't want all these restrictions. Just let people go, because that's when you get your best shows. Keep it interesting. Definitely keep it going.
Yes.
Try to get one every time you're going to. Like, if your audience is expecting a weekly show or a monthly show or whatever your schedule is, then stick to the schedule, because that's what I mean. Because like after a while, if it's a weekly show and it's been 6 weeks and there ain't been no show, after a while people kind of forget about the show, or they unsubscribe, and then you lose a lot of your audience. So and even if you don't have nothing, just go on and talk about not having nothing, and just let it go. That's the biggest thing. Some of our best shows have been like when we had nothing, and we end up having a great show, and it's just like at the end I'm thinking, Oh, that went way better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. It could definitely happen. So yeah, Shazam had a mental blackout there. That coffee is not taking effect yet. What would be a big lesson that you've learned over the years that you would impart on somebody else, if you could?
To add to what Greed said, don't give up. Whether it's Twitch streaming, and I'm bad to say this because like after 2-3 weeks, I'm like, I just give up for Twitch streaming, and then I'm done, and maybe come back the next season after that, or just don't do it at all. But yeah, don't give up on what you want to do, and put as much effort as possible as you want to put into it, because eventually it will work out. I promise you on that one. I didn't know 10 months ago I was going to be a co-host of a podcast that I joined a community like a year or two before that. But, here I am. And then, just try and make the show better and, as best as you can. And, don't give up and try everything you can to make it, the best show you can possibly make it, within your ability and stuff like that,
Yeah. I think that's been, thinking back to the previous shows, what other guests have said, it's like a lot of them have said always be yourself. Others have also, multiple have also echoed, just be consistent. Like, it doesn't matter, like, how you were saying, it doesn't matter, like, what you're talking about. There may be nothing, but just being consistent is another thing. And just doing it, as Shazam, as you said, like, those seem to be, like, the 3 top pillars of really community, Twitch, or podcasting. And you could really extrapolate that to just anything in general. Like, just be yourself, just be consistent in what you do, and actually just do it. Like, you could apply that to really just about anything in life. But those seem to be what everyone tends to agree to one way or another. And I also believe in those too. So, there we go. So, with that, we will graduate from segment 1, and we'll move to the rapid fire questions in the mystical land that is not here. We will see you on the other side.
7. Oh, I thought, my bad, bro. Too fast.
It's okay.
7 deadly sins.
Anyways, maybe we'll leave that in. Maybe it'll just be a weird blooper. There we go. Maybe we'll just have, like, I'll just put in, like, something that just says, like, technical difficulties for, like, 5 seconds in the video. Who knows? We'll see how frisky I feel tonight when I'm editing the show for tomorrow.
Oh, it's hilarious, bro.
Anyways.
You said rapid fire.
Rapid. Anyways. This segment is the 7 Deadly Sins. It is a rapid fire question meant to daze and confuse our guests. They do not have previous knowledge of said questions, and they are encouraged to answer quickly with as little thinking as possible for the funniest responses that can be maintained. Some of these questions are for both of you, some of them are just for one of you, so I will do my best to clarify as we go through. So this is for both of you. We'll start with Deadgreed. Of the original SS crew, which one inspired you the most?
Brazier.
Moving to you, Shazam.
Who's the original host?
Oh, and we're all crying on the inside. Lantonio, Brazia, Jen, and Nevik.
I would have to say Jen because it's the only one I know.
Win by default. There we go. Shazam only question: Is Deadgreed always that charming?
No.
I'm always this good looking though.
Question for both of you. We'll start with Deadgreed again. Are witch doctors just second-class wizards without a dress?
Ouch.
No, they suck.
See, even after all these years, Nevik and I still have that great witch doctor hate. It made our it intertwined our souls a lot. We felt sorry for Bridget. All right, question for Deadgreed. There, right. Does Shazam always bring, well, the Shazam power?
Of course.
See, he's nice. Okay. Next question. What's the one thing you will always? Oh God. See, I'm trying to read my own English and sometimes it just doesn't work out. What's the one thing you would just snap away forever without memory of it from the game?
Stacks?
Stacks?
I haven't got one better. Witch doctors and stacks.
Okay. I can get behind that. I like that.
That's a personal reference because I hate getting stacks for a stupid witch doctor. It pisses me off. It's the worst. This thing, God, can y'all not like make a witch doctor tough without freaking soul harvest, please?
Probably not. Hey, maybe Diablo 4 if the witch doctor is there. Anyways, moving along. Question number 6 has come to be the Diablo 4 is announced theme question. So we'll start with Shazam this time. Diablo 4 is announced, and it is glorious. Do you think our dear friend Nevik James will be singing Sweet Sweet Wine to himself when he hears the news?
Sure.
Deadgreed, do you think he will be?
I think it's more like It's Raining Men.
That's good. I like that. And the next question. Well, actually, there is no last question, so you guys win, because I couldn't think of another question. So, you get spared the last Deadly Sin question due to my child and having to deal with that. Even being pushed back an hour, it still wasn't enough time. Oh well. But yes, thank you all for joining us on the 7 Deadly Sins.
Hear ye, read all about it. The burning times.
And we have arrived at the last segment in the show, which is where I kind of hand over the guiding reins just a little, to our guests. And if they have a particular thought, feeling, something about the game they want to talk about, negatively or positively, or they just feel something needs to have more spotlight on it, because they don't feel it gets enough love for whatever reason, I tend to turn it over to them. So I'll start with Shazam. Is there anything in the game, or anything even remotely outside of the game, that you feel deserves a little bit of love, a little bit more talking about? I'll start with you, if there's anything that comes up. If you don't have anything, it's fine. There's always a backup.
Yeah, I really don't have anything. To be honest with you, I don't want to be too negative about the other.
Fine. Sometimes you have to let the hate out to let the positive in. Alright, so is there anything in particular that you would like to talk about, Deadgreed?
Well, Brandy did say that this year they were going to let us know about all the Diablo projects, and literally, she hasn't let us know a single one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're yeah. It's like it's hard to talk about stuff like that because it's like if we were to go down that rabbit hole, which we could a little bit. It's last year's BlizzCon happened, and I spent probably way too much time trying to rationalize the outrage end of it versus the, like, you know, you're just a Blizzard fanboy, you're just defending them no matter what, versus the people who were upset and like just being very visceral about their reaction. And it was like, okay, fine. BlizzCon happened, they announced the mobile game in front of a primarily PC audience, but you know what? BlizzCon is their convention that they run about their games, and they can make any announcement they want to. It's like when we go to BlizzCon, yes, we feel a certain amount. It's like I feel very quickly people fall into, for people who go there, that's what I'm talking about. If I have, let me be a little bit more specific. It's like people who go there feel there's a certain entitlement to, I need to get my money's worth, where it's actually the complete opposite. It's like, no, if you want to go, you're just going. If you're going for an announcement that may not come, that's on you. They're not going to change what they're going to do based on you going or not. And if you don't go, or if you want to sell your tickets, there's about 1,000 people behind you that would go no matter what. But I do believe there is credence to, well, most of the games that Blizzard does are PC. However, especially with the Diablo community, Diablo was the game that brought Blizzard back to consoles. Overwatch wouldn't have been on consoles if Diablo didn't set that trend going forward. And Diablo is doing it again with the mobile market. Yes, Hearthstone was there, but you could say Hearthstone was more of a port, and they were working on it at the same time. And it's the same game. Diablo Immortal is a completely scratch-built game, and it's being brought over for the mobile platform. Now, we can have our viewpoints about mobile gaming versus PC gaming, the fact that there is new content, there is new lore, there is new things in the mobile that we will be deprived of in the PC, but those are the different arguments versus, oh, Immortal sucks. It's like, only about 35 of my closest friends, quote unquote, who are at BlizzCon had the opportunity to play it. The vast majority of people who are complaining about it didn't get a chance to play it. It's basically outrage over completely subjective opinion based on not actually touching the game, let alone playing it, let alone seeing what it was. So, I don't know, it's like, it's been like a whirlwind, and especially going this BlizzCon, I still have a lot of those feelings. I still have a lot of those thoughts of like what should I expect? Like I feel like I should expect the world, and at the same time expect nothing because of what happened last year. There's like I don't want to say there was like a break in trust as much as like I guess like, are they really in touch? But to bring it back around to what you're talking about, which kind of defaults to communication, is they realized they made a misstep. They said, then they put the post out like, we hear you. And then a month later, what was it, beginning of January, middle of January, they kind of had like a more or less, I'll be fairly honest and say, basically sterilized answer that really didn't mean much. And then we go 6-7 months, and then we get told new legendary items and sets and stuff, which is nice, but it felt like it was an announcement of an announcement type deal. Like it was something, but by itself meant nothing. It was, and being that close to BlizzCon, we figure like, oh, they're just building the BlizzCon hype train, but they're building it for this stuff, when we're really a misalignment. Like, they're shooting towards Diablo 3, where we're still focused on that Diablo 4 train, and have been for the last 2 or 3 years. So I don't know. I guess I could pose as a question back to you guys after talking way too much. Sorry, not sorry. We'll see. How do you feel the chances are that we're gonna get Diablo 4 this year?
Well, that's what I meant by that whole statement. Was like, you know, I guess it's been over a year ago. She put that video down that was like multiple Diablo,
Mm-hmm.
and then we didn't see it. And then after all that stuff kind of cooled down, she was like, "Hey, we're going to talk about everything Diablo this year, and we haven't seen it yet." So I kind of think like BlizzCon is going to be Diablo lit because they got to come with all their projects, and because if they don't, oh my God, it ain't going to be. But yeah, I don't know. I really think that they gotta hammer it, and we're close. We're like what, a month out?
Not
So,
even. Like this week
well, whatever.
this Wednesday. I measure by Wednesdays because that's when I'm leaving. So we're about 3.5 weeks.
3 weeks out, whatever, a month, 3 weeks. But I'm getting there to where I've already bought my virtual ticket, and I'm ready. I'm getting ready to hear the good. These multiple Diablo projects. I mean, I know Shazam's smiling, but look, I'm a sucker. I'll fall for it. But please make it good, because I mean, one thing that I'm kind of excited about is all of a sudden I get home and there's an announcement that we're getting new sets for all the class. I was like, whoa, new sets! Dang, I didn't expect that. Like, dang. And then like we started thinking about like possibilities, like what would you even like out of what would you like out of the class you play?
Oh, like for a wizard, I totally want a mirror image set. Because like, do people even realize that the wizard has a mirror image skill? It's never used. Ever. It was used in vanilla a little bit.
Yeah, well, in vanilla there was this Hydra. Like, you would put out, I think you would put out 2 Hydras, and then you would hit mirror image, and it would double the Hydras. So then you would have 4. So you could use it in a combination like that, like to multiply your spells.
Yeah, people have been saying like, even though they couldn't bring it back because poison Hydra isn't a thing, but like mirror image, like mirroring abilities or something. Like, I'm imagining like your mirror images come out, they do the same thing as you, but they focus fire on your target. So it doesn't do, so you're not doing a lot of damage by yourself, but the fact that you have a lot of mirror images, it multiplies the damage. Kind of think of it as like a tag team royale death ray that you're just like single target shit down. So obviously it will replace bazooka because it will be that much better. Sorry, it'll be like another like 15 seasons of Wear Wizards on top for RGK Killer or something, but yeah, no, that was, like I said, like, even though I felt that announcement of like sets and everything was like an announcement of an announcement because we didn't get what it was still exciting. Like, okay, there's still new stuff coming, at least. But yeah, so Shazam, do you feel we're gonna get Diablo 4 announced?
Yes. I believe we are. I might even believe that we're gonna have Diablo Immortal be released at BlizzCon, because if NetEase is done with the game for the past, 6 months, and Blizzard still hasn't released it, they're holding it for some reason. I don't know if they're just putting that special polish on it or what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That can of Blizzard polish that costs $1 million and takes 6 months to apply.
Somewhere in the world, there's 40 interns with sore elbows.
It's interesting because of that point you brought up, the whole fact that supposedly early in the year, I think what was it, January or February? It was early in the year that article came out, or NetEase was quoted as saying like their part of the development was done, and the game being released was basically at the whim of Blizzard at that point. So at that point, we were all kind of wondering why. A suspicious thought got into my mind. It's probably not anywhere near close to true, even though it's not far out there. Was, well, what if they saw such a negative reaction to Immortal that they tried to fundamentally change it in a way to make it more pleasing? Now, whether that's making it kind of cross-platform in a way. So, yeah, it'll be mobile, but you could play it feasibly on a PC through like an app market or something like that. Or they reworked it to where, okay, fine, we'll at least add controller support in some way. Natively, instead of needing a third-party app or program or emulator type deal. So at least that's why if people felt like, well, I want to play because I can't, which was a very valid complaint, and some of us had to kind of learn that when we were doing demo. The tactile, there's nothing there. You're playing on the screen. There's no grip. There's no nothing like you have with joysticks or something on a controller. So if you kind of gave people a controller and were able to play through like Bluetooth, that could kind of ease people maybe into playing it a little bit. But the other thought was, well, what if they kind of reworked Immortal in some kind of screw way that it actually interfaced with Diablo 4? Like, Immortal was still its own game, but some things you did in it could interface with Diablo 4, theoretically. Because we don't know what Diablo 4 is. I mean, whenever I talk about it typically, not doing good due diligence on this show, however, was I always refer to it as Diablo 4/next copyright 9ball 2017, because he kind of coined that phrase, and that's appropriate because we don't know if Diablo 4 is going to be after the events, or if it's going to be some kind of prequel, or if it's going to be a giant time leap forward. So if it's a prequel in some ways, it could very well tie in with Diablo Immortal one way or another. And then that would make it cool, because then it would be kind of like additional content. It would be kind of how like the WoW companion app during Warlords of Draenor and Legion and everything. Like I'm sorry, it's a command table, you do your champions, but at least you were able to do that stuff while you were not at your PC, and you weren't wasting literally hours when you weren't on a PC before you set out your companions on their next adventure for items or gold or rep or whatever you needed from them. It helped you be more efficient. So I'm wondering if maybe Diablo Immortal will be its own game, but it'll have tie-ins that help you be more efficient in Diablo 4. I don't think either one of those are true, but if that line was accurate, it almost sounds contradictory. Why wait till BlizzCon to basically tear the scab off of the wound from last year, and then hope to cover it up instantaneously with announcing Diablo 4? I would think that there's more to it there. I would hope, maybe. We'll see how much I'm overthinking this.
Well, I think the way to do it, if they're going to do that, is to have all the projects announced. You know, start with the big guns. Hit them with Diablo 4. Mm-hmm. Do the announcement, have a video or whatever, some artwork or whatever they're doing, and kind of talk a little bit about the Diablo 4. Then go to the, hey, we're also doing a Netflix, and hey, we're doing this, and hey, we're doing that, and hey, we're doing this. Mm-hmm. And also, by the way, right now, get your smartphone out, because you can play Immortal. Like, I don't think, like, leading with Immortal and then going, oh, and we got Diablo 4. Yeah, I think they got to do that at the end, like, oh, by the way, you can also play Diablo. You can also play Immortal right now if you want. If you want. But join us at this panel where we're going to talk about Diablo 4, or we're going to talk about Diablo 3 and the new sets, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, they got to do these steps, and then I think that's the way to go, right? Because, like, if you come out and just if you come out on the stage and you're like immortal, people are gonna. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah. And that's why, like I said before, it's like after last year and looking at this year and like trying to read the tea leaves, it's like trying to read the tea leaves is just broken now. Like it just can't be done. It's like we should expect the world and yet nothing. And like, yeah. So it's tough. It's tough trying to guess this Diablo 3 thing. This Diablo franchise, because like every other, because that's the other thing that I think people forget about, is Diablo is the only franchise with Blizzard right now that's still kind of in the old style development method, like 3-4 year development cycle, then release the game. You could say, well, the Warcraft has that with its expansions, but the thing is, they're consistently releasing the expansion, having the, and then they have a team switch to immediately start working on the other expansions. So by the time they've released expansion, they're already starting on the next one. So they have the entire year and a half or so of that current expansion already working on. So by the time they announce it, they already have enough done to announce it, release it, on a beta, get it all working, and then it's finished, and then they start working on the next one. That doesn't exist with Diablo. There's still rumors, more or less, we think true rumors, that there was the second expansion for Diablo 3, as there was a planned second expansion for Diablo 2, but it just never came to be, for whatever reason. And like when we were talking before, I know, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I'll see how you guys feel about this too, because how I said before, like, hopefully they announce Diablo 4. I want to feel, like I said, I want to feel that emotional response. I don't want to think about it. I want it to be like, okay, how do I have to defend this on Reddit, or how do I have to quantify this to like be positive? Like, I just want to feel good and excited and fist bump the air. But also at the same time, it's how do I just get beyond, this is not Diablo 3.5, like it's not more of the same and everything like that. I think this could be a little bit trickier because we're not going to have as much information. It'd be great if we did, but I'm assuming both of you have the same sentiment. Like, you just want to feel good about the game, and more importantly, you want to feel that it's not just what we have now plus maybe one or two things. Like it has to be fresh. It has to be like, it doesn't have to be new for the sake of being new, but it has to be kind of like, it has to be funky fresh. It has to be something completely different, so to speak.
Yeah, it can. For me, it can have like Nephalem rifts and greater rifts and stuff like that. But there has to be more end game than just running bounties, min-maxing your gear, and then running greater rifts. Like, there has to be like something, like concrete that make you want to do it a long time. Like, for me, like I stop at like 1,500 greater rifts in a season because like I'm so burnt out. I don't want to do another rift in a season because I've done so many over and over and over again. I just don't want to do another one. I want to do something else. There's nothing else in the game other than, like, I was talking to King Tut, and he was like, well, you got 9,000 9,000 forgotten souls. You should be running bounties. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run bounties until all of them are gone. Sure, buddy. No, thank you. You know what I mean?
Let's see.
Because by the time I'm 9,000's over, I'm gonna have 5,000 more. And it's just no, thank you. It's yeah. It needs to be like, it would be great if it had like an end game like like, wow, like there's dungeons and there's raids and there's all kinds of stuff to do, but like Diablo 3 has like none of that. They got mythic dungeons, that's it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I know one thing that I was gonna say earlier, and then I forgot to mention it. But the one thing I really want out of Diablo 4 is a stronger community tools.
Yes.
Our clan system is a joke. I mean, let's just get real. It's a joke. It doesn't matter if you're in a clan or not. Really, it does not matter. The whole clan chat thing, they need a complete rework on that. I don't know what needs to happen, but they need to lean into the community really hard, because that's what makes the game. I mean, do you think I'd be grinding 1,000 Paragon points or whatever if I didn't have the guys to talk to, or the gals too, because we had more than just men, but you know what I'm saying, like the people, the community members. There's no way I mean, this is season whatever 18, right? And it's fun to start over, and it's fun to get that exciting gear, but it's the reason why I don't play non-season, because nobody I know plays non-season, really.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a huge non-season community, I'd probably be all over it, because I got so much, I got so much gear, so much Paragon, so much everything, right? But but like the clan system, it almost, to me, it really feels like they developed all of Diablo 3, and they were super excited about all these features, and then somebody was like, hey, y'all aren't gonna have like clans or guilds or anything? And they were like, oh dang, we forgot to put those in. That's what it feels like to me. I really wish that we had something better. I mean, as I'm the clan leader of the Shattered Soulstone now, and I don't even realize when people have to whisper to me and be like, hey, did you get my thing? Because I'm trying to get an invite to the clan. I don't even know. Like, I don't know when people whisper in clan chat. I never see that ever. In World of Warcraft, it's completely different. Like, you see chat all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because it's a little bit of a slower game. You know what I mean by slower game? Like the action's slower. I mean, there's so much stuff going on the screen in Diablo. You can get killed by a fat guy or a forge or whatever, right? So you're really paying attention to the center of your screen. You're not looking over there in the corner. So I don't know. It's like, it doesn't seem like the clan system we have currently does not really even seem like it's part of Diablo 3. It just seems like an add-on, or like a very poor something they put in the game that was just not really well thought out. Like, we have Discord, which is great. I love Discord. That's where everything happens for us. But why does that all have to be out of game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, I've met a lot of the developers over the years, a lot of the community management people over the years. Some are still with Blizzard, some of them have moved to other higher positions in Blizzard, some have part of their ways, and I appreciate each and every single one of their contributions to the game and what it's done for all of us. I mean, if the game didn't exist, we wouldn't be here where we are right now. I mean, that's just objectively 110% fact. There's no getting around that. But when I, through my eyes and my opinion, look at the game, it's like I just see a lot of loose ends that never seem to have really gotten addressed. Like, whether it was the gem system, how do we get augment gems? Oh, we have to drop a gem in town, run a greater rift to get it. That seems like a loose end problem. It's like, because that's a mechanic that's never explained in game, and you have to kind of figure it out through tribal knowledge, which is fine for some things, but that shouldn't be it, because that's a core mechanic of the game. And likewise, you could say community tools is another thing, because if you want your game to have an effective community, you have to give it the tools to do what it needs to do. And having chat and having clan and community servers constantly disconnect, and having a weird arbitrary things like once you get above 150 people, is it, in communities you only see officers online. The invite bug where people request an invite for clans, they appear as like nameless or they have zero, so you have no idea who you're inviting. There's a lot of little things that, while a lot of people are happy for like old new sets and everything like that, it's coming on the back of a game that's still not 100% there. I mean, I'm glad I've been playing Classic this season, because every time I put on the stream like Muggle Mama or Leviathan or P-Child or someone who's playing Diablo at the time, it's like they have to figure out all these wacky ass workarounds to get into a party. Or like, oh crap, did you leave the clan? It's like, no, still in the clan, because like the clan tags aren't appearing, or you can't really talk in party chat. And I'm like going like, this should be like priority fixing stuff. Why is it still not fixed after a month? So I think that kind of leads to the criticism of like, can we just get I think we as a community have to be a little bit smarter and realize like, this is why we need Diablo 4, not an expansion or a DLC, because the engine is physically showing its age and is beginning to deteriorate with what they needed to do. So I think that's another reason why I hope Diablo 4 is announced, is because like, we need a fresh start for just the engine and what they want to do, they can do without somehow breaking something. Because as we know in coding, as one of the fabled jokes was, there's 99 bugs in the code, you fix one, there's 127 now. So it's kind of like that wacky scenario. You look like you wanted to say something real quick. Agreed. You want to say something?
I was just gonna I had a thought, but it's fine. I was just gonna say that it's never mind, brother. It's one of those things that's like, it's okay.
It's fine. It's all good in the neighborhood. All these wacky
I mean, to be fair, to me, what you said was better than what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, to me, it's the game is like what? How old is Diablo now? 3?
Diablo 3 is about 7.5 years old, but you have to factor it was in development publicly 4 years prior, and how many years prior to that. So the engine that is built on is at least 12 to 14 years old at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems very strange that on a 7-year-old game, all of a sudden we got invite problems. Like, it really feels strange. And I don't know if they can fix it without putting another patch out, like a full. Like, I don't think they could. They may not be able to fix that with a hot patch, which is probably why it's still broken. Because why wouldn't they fix that? Because obviously it's a major thing, or they would have fixed it, because it makes them look bad. Like when all these streamers are on there and they can't get their friends, they don't know who's in the clan. You know, that's a bad advertisement for you. Mm-hmm. For a game that's 7 years old. Like if I was like, oh, I have never heard of Diablo, let me check it out. Let me see. Oh, these guys are playing Diablo. Let me see what it's like. And then, you watch a Leviathan and they can't even figure out who's in their clan, it doesn't look good for the game. So I can't believe that they would just be like, we'll fix it eventually. And they did put out a tweet that said that they did fix it, but then immediately erased the tweet because they were like, whoops, actually not fixed. Which is, I understand, like, they're trying hard to fix it. I get it. I just think that it's something, when they put this patch out, they messed something up, and I don't think it's something that they can fix without putting another patch out. So, I mean, we'll see going into the next season what's going on with the clan invites and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, hopefully. And yeah, I do agree. I would believe that. I wonder if it's something fundamentally flawed. Somehow it's linking back to BattleNet, and that could be a whole nother can of worms, so to speak.
I mean, it's just a pure engineering issue, and I'm sure they got 100 engineers like pulling their hair out trying to figure out why in the heck I can't see my clan tag, or why I can't invite Shazam to my game, or why Shazam was just in my game a minute ago but now he's not, and I can't invite another person because Shazam's actually still in my game. It's like a weird, it's got to be. I know they got 100 engineers just like trying to just fix it, but it seems like that it's not an easy fix to me.
Yeah, because if it was an easy fix, it would be fixed by now. Yeah. But before we get too much longer here, Shazam, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any last minute thoughts or ideas?
Other than, I think from BlizzCon on last year, I think like Blizzard as a whole, other than WoW Classic, obviously, all their communication has been pretty piss poor, because we were essentially supposed to have Diablo Immortal by now. Haven't heard anything from it. We're supposed to have Warcraft 3 in the summer. We still haven't heard anything from it. We're in the fall. We're almost at BlizzCon again. The only thing that actually came true is all the patches for World of Warcraft and WoW Classic coming out on time. Other than that, like, I haven't seen like anything that's actually, like that they said, oh, this is gonna be released then. That it hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And on another note, like when you were talking about like integration with Diablo 4 and Diablo Immortal, like to me it'd be pretty awesome, like if like the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita type thing, or the Nintendo Switch, you have a dock to undocked. Like, to me that'd be pretty awesome, like if you could literally play Diablo 4 on your computer, pick up your smartphone or your Nintendo Switch or something like that, start playing Diablo Immortal, and shit happening in Diablo 4 for you while you're playing on your phone or something like that. That, to me, that'd be pretty awesome. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But that would be like the ultimate. That'd be the ultimate fan service, that Blizzard could do to make Diablo Immortal feel like it's for the PC people, because it's actually going to give you something that you're going to want in game. That you can only get through playing it on your mobile device or your. It's probably not going to ever get the Nintendo Switch, but you never know.
Yeah.
I don't think Hearthstone's on the Switch, but Overwatch is.
Yeah, that's weird when you really think about it. Yeah. But any other final thoughts, Reed?
No, I'm pretty. It's it's pretty good for sure.
Yeah. And let's make sure that we clear the air, is all of us here on the show, and I think everyone in the Diablo 3 community, while we all may have our different viewpoints and opinions on the current state of Blizzard, current state of Diablo franchise and everything, I think are all still excited for new opportunities within Diablo 3, as well as the prospects of Diablo 4. And there's some of us, I'll raise my hand, that actually are excited to see what Diablo Immortal brings. And I acknowledge, because I was there, I got to play it, I just let them talk about what the game was and understood that they were doing things really new with Immortal that just aren't in Diablo 3, could probably never be in Diablo 3. but could be implemented for Diablo 4, and it would be brand new stuff that we could only dream about. But to kind of end the show, so to speak, on a positive note, is that we're all very excited for what the future brings, what Diablo 3 has in its franchise. We're just hoping that Diablo team, plural, and Blizzard actually deliver on those said promises and blog posts and discussions and follow-ups. We're just hoping that they hold up to their end, and we'll hold up to ours by opening up our wallets like they always want us to. But they have to earn that. So, just want to make sure that's clear after all the discussion. So, with that, we have arrived at the end of the show. So before I get into the standard show stuff, I will hand over the mic to Deadgreed and then Shazam. Where can people find you? What projects are you working on? All that fun stuff. Plug away.
You can always find me on Discord. Our Discord, the Shattered Soulstone Discord. You can either find me in Classic or Diablo or whatever game I'm playing. And, just the best place to find me is Discord. I do have a Twitter, but, it is what it is. Twitter at Deadgreed1812. Of course, you can find me on my podcast, Shattered Soulstone. Find that where you download iTunes or wherever non-real man phone users get their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. And Shazam, where can people find you, your projects, all that kind of fun stuff?
I'm on Twitter at Shazam81. I actually use my Twitter now. Been using it for the past, 6-8 months. If I don't use it every day, I at least look at it every day. Yeah, just like Greed said, we're on the Shattered Soulstone podcast. We're on Discord. Go to the Shattered Soulstone website at www.shatteredsoulstone.com. Find the Discord link. Other than that, that's basically it. I don't have no projects other than the Shattered Soulstone and giving away stuff on there in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Proud of you guys. You deserve it. Alrighty. So, with that, you can find the show at scytheandshield.com. If you want to email the show, that would be scytheandshield@gmail.com. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, that would be at scytheandshield. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, that would be at DreadScythe on Twitter. I forgot that last week. If you like to listen to the show, you can listen to it on the channels YouTube, Apple, Google, and Spotify. And most importantly, if you want to be part of the show, you can join the Discord. Go to the website, click the link there, and you can suggest future guests that I may not know about, that you know about and you want to see on the show. And then you can also suggest questions for those guests, and if I pick it, I'll give you a shout out on the show and go from there. And last but not least, especially for iTunes, if you leave those reviews, 5-star reviews, I will pay attention to when they come in, and I'll read them on the show as a thank you to you, the listener. And that's it. So once again, thank you, Deadgreed and Shazam, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, bro. It was a good time, man.
And as always, keep hacking and slashing, my friends. Have a good night.